Derek Hyman. Where do you see the team's mindset going into week 3? That was a tough loss. The whole team, including coaching staff, are to blame. Do you think Justin Jefferson and Cousins are going to have make a statement game? Yes. Yes. Also, there's no Darius Slay. There's no Darius Slay to hurt you here anymore. Maddox Maloney. I felt like we lost the game the second the first quarter ended, and we could have done differently on both sides. That definitely got away in the first half. It was very rough. After the defense just bled, was it 383 yards of offense and 24 points, and then the offense had 4 3-and-outs. Ugh, it's rough, man. Tristan D. If the Vikings miss the playoffs, can you see Kwesi trading up for a quarterback in the draft? Yes. If this thing goes completely pear-shaped, maybe they hit the reset button. Michael Miller. If we don't make the playoffs, would you trade the first overall pick for our franchise for a franchise quarterback? Or would you trade for Lamar Jackson? I would roll the dice on a rookie. I understand Lamar is proven, but mobile quarterbacks getting into that second contract, it's kind of rough, even though Lamar has greatly improved as a passer. But you can understand the reservations that the Ravens have with Lamar in this spot. I want a Super Bowl so bad. I'm not giving up after one game. I'm just asking. Kirk, prove me wrong, please. Yes. So Chris Manley. When can we say running back wasn't the right approach, and what should they do if the season looks like the same as the past couple years? When can we say running it back wasn't the right approach? I don't know. Week 18. I guess we'll find out. iMovie King. 3 things the offense and 3 things the defense needs to do in order to win on Sunday, and 3 players that need to step up. Hey, I'm not going to give away the Vikings-Lions preview, but a couple things. Stop the Lions running game. That's going to be the major one. And just play your own game on offense. Like don't get so one-dimensional. Have some continuity. Like mix it up. Get Dalvin involved. I think is going to be key. Also, special teams. We're coming for it. Like there's going to be a blocked punt. Fully guaranteed. Alex Heitlinger, and the alternate reality, where does Irv drop that pass? And where Irv doesn't drop that pass, he'll kick an easy field goal on every other red zone trip. Do we still lose? No. I mean, Vikings win if it's that scenario. Now, the Eagles' offense will certainly ramp things up again, but then the defense would have to step up. When will we see more of Asamoah, Seen, Evans, and Reed? Because Hicks, Ingram, and P2 have been struggling. Well, Ingram isn't coming off the field. I could see Hicks in for or Asamoah in for Hicks, yes. Evans or Booth in for Patrick Peterson. I think that's coming. And then Lewis Seen. I mean, yeah, we'll get more than one game. Why was Dantzler bench for Evans instead of P2 being bench? That's a very good question. It was implied that it could have been the miscommunication between Dantzler and Bynum on the Quez Watkins long touchdown. But there's no way to know for sure because it's so weird because Dantzler seemed like the only player actually playing well out there. Tristan D, is our season over if we lose at home to the Lions this week? No, but could make the season significantly longer. Jonathan Janke, if you had to pick an AFC team, who would it be and why? Well, the easy one would be the Bills because they're freaking rolling, man. But love the culture as well. They're a less annoying Packers fans. We're small town, tight-knit community. They definitely get after it, drinking, partying, breaking tables, all that stuff. Or, I mean, I could pick the Raiders. I always like the Raiders' mystique. Commitment to excellence. Plus, I mean, Vegas. I mean, come on. I mean, that's a match made in heaven right there. Minnesota Vikings hype. When you need a big comeback at the half, it's not clicking in the first, why not give the new guys a chance? So basically just cash in at halftime. I wouldn't say halftime, but later on in the game, if you're getting blown out, sure. Blake Kettler. What, in your opinion, is the best team to not win a Super Bowl? I mean, 98 Vikings. Also, what shows you watching right now? I've been looking for recommendations. I guess 98 Vikings, 07 Patriots. Those would all certainly be up there. I'm sure there's some other ones from way back in the day. Shows right now. So the wife and I have been watching For All Mankind. We just got caught up with the final episodes. Can't wait for season 4. It's a fantastic show. The premise is, what if the Russians landed on the moon first and the space race didn't stop? So what level of technology would be at? We'd be at the moon in the 90s. or no, excuse me, the Mars in the 90s. We have a moon base in the 80s. That's about it. Ted Lasso, can't wait for season 3 to come out. It seems like there's some pretty significant delays, so that sucks. And then also Yellowstone coming back. We loved 1883, the 1923 or 1932, the prequel. Harrison Ford, that's gonna be good. Mayans MC, because I was a big Sons of Anarchy fan, so Mayans MC. It's not the same show, it's different, but they're both good. Then also been watching a lot of Dateline. I don't know. It's so weird and morbid that Dateline is one of the more popular shows on television, and it all revolves around some person's tragedy. It makes you feel a little bit weird how much you enjoy it. It's crazy, man. Next, Luke Haberman. Does every team get blown out every once in a while, or is it just a Vikings thing? Yes, every single team gets their doors blown off every now and then. Was hoping that this was a Zimmer thing, but starting to think, yeah. Every now and then, teams just absolutely eat it. But the question is, so good teams, every team loses games. Good teams don't lose 2 in a row. That's it. Crazy Asylum. Why were the Vikings playing so opened up on defense? Actually looks set up. Like Harrison was way over to one side. I mean, free safety. Yeah, the whole cover 2 scheme. I understand it. You're trying not to give up the big play, but then you just give up a lot of smaller, medium plays underneath. And if you're not getting pressure with 4, it just does not work. Where you see, the Bills, they play a lot of cover 2, so they're not going to give up the big play, but they also get pressure with 4. And Leslie and company are really getting after it. Todd Haysbrook. Is Justin Jefferson as good as we think he is? Not that one game defines his season or career. He is, but also he's got to be able to rise above when teams throw double and triple teams at him. When you have great cornerbacks like Darius Slay out there across from, like he's got to rise up and still overcome that. Merle Hexum. Who is the biggest weakness on the defense? Offensively, I actually wouldn't say that there's a weakness necessarily. Ingram's been fine for a rookie. Bradbury's actually been playing really good. I guess you could say maybe tight end. Munt is fine. Irv had that drop. Defensively, it's either Peterson or Hicks. Yeah, it's time for the youth movement. Bennett, Durham, Klein. Should we trade for Cam Newton? He's a free agent, but also no. Nomad, do you think we'll finally get rid of Kirk Cousins after the season? He's got a no-trade clause and $35 million fully guaranteed next year, so probably not. Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, they inked up with Cousins for the next 2 years. They bet their future on him, and it was one game. I mean, were people saying the same thing after week 1? No. Daniel Brueggemann, can Kirk actually win games that matter, the real playoff games, not scare Kirk, not perfect Kirk, just good playtime Kirk? Yes. Yes, he can. But people, he's 2-10 on Monday Night Football. He had won 2 in a row before the Philly debacle, which wasn't all on him. Westworld, if you could marry one Viking, monetary value aside, whom would it be? I feel like personality-wise, I would get along with Harrison Phillips. He just seems like a good dude. Probably. Also, he doesn't. He seems like he'd be the type of guy crack a couple beers with, maybe go hunting with. Sure, go that. Or I don't know, Brian O'Neill, or I feel like Chris Boyd would be freaking hilarious. I mean, Chris Boyd just comes off as extremely, extremely funny. Brett Seberg. How many? But monetary value not aside, marry Kirk and then get divorced. No prenup. Brett Seberg. How many bad games by Jordan Hicks is it going to take to get Brian Asamoah in with the ones? Hopefully not too many more. Second, what's going on? Patrick Peterson seems really slow and loses his legs. Is he playing with an injury? I'm not sure about that part, but the move to more zone was supposed to highlight and just really benefit Patrick Peterson, except it just hasn't been that way so far. Like, it seems like he's giving up big plays or big potential plays like week 1 against Green Bay. And then also just getting fooled by RPOs over and over and over again against the Eagles. That was really annoying. A return of the Bomber Squad. Do you think Kevin Seifert is really Carl Groschmidt? No. The superior affection. If the 4th-ranked offense and tied for the second scoring Detroit Lions roar and tear up the Vikings at home, then what? Slap some Band-Aids on, hope the bleeding stops, and hope the team heals. It's too early in the season just to scrap everything, man. Plus, with a new regime, just getting settled in, all that stuff. I mean, even if the Vikings just completely roll over and the Lions put the bang thing on them, yeah. Miles, please, 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 Eddie D, can you not call a game like that again? It was unbearable watching players we all admire get worked like that. It felt like a preseason game, didn't it? It did. Tom T, would you not bring a kick out of the end zone at second half of a game? You're down by 2 touchdowns. Doesn't make sense, especially with King Kene. I mean, yes, but also, what happens if it's a bad look and they have good coverage and you're down at the 12? That's not a good way to start off that drive either. Brett Vuzelas, do you still trust Kevin O'Connell and our coaching staff? Yes, it's been 2 games. Jacob Householder, serious question. Should we hire a witch to bless this facility and break the curse? I think it may be the only way. How about a shaman? Or like Vikings had shamans, right? Or is that a different culture? Or we need the Viking equivalent of a shaman. Yes. Angel Dutz Sr., do the Vikings finish the season above 500, 9-8 or better? Keep in mind it's been 3 years since they finished above 500. Also, keep in mind that it's been 3 years since. What does that have to do with anything? What does the teams under Mike Zimmer, like what the 2020 Vikings have to do this year? Nonsense. Yes, they'll be 9 or 8 or better. So we actually did get that Packer stock. It's just the world's smallest Packer stock. Yeah. I was going to do a tattoo bet. I already currently have a tattoo bet. If Kirk Cousins wins regular season MVP, the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl MVP, I will get you Vike that tattooed on my tramp stamp area. Sebastian Cordova. Not a question, but the year the Bucs won the Super Bowl, they got beat up pretty bad by the Saints. First game of the season got beat really bad, 38-3. In the 9th game of the season, and played them in the divisional round of the playoffs and won. It is extremely hard to beat a team 3 times. And that's the whole thing about... Yeah, division games, throw the records out, throw what happened that season out. It's going to be a tough game either way. Bennett, Durham, Klein. Should we trade for Zach Ertz? No. St. Francis, if we make it to the playoffs, do you think we'll re-sign Kirk Cousins? It's possible. I don't see Kirk playing next year on a lame duck contract, so it's possible. Metrosity, will Justin Jefferson's poutines catch up to him? Has he been eating a lot of poutine? That's something that Canadians get right. Like, Canadians get beer right. They get poutine right. They get syrup right. That's about it. Bill Quantrill. When do the Vikings move on from Cousins? 2024. Incognito Mosquito. 27 years old. What are the chances I see the Vikings Super Bowl in my lifetime? 50-50. Either it happens or it don't. Or any Minnesota championship that's not from the WNBA or college hockey. I bet you the Twins will reel off some random World Series within 15 years. And then just fade back into obscurity. Smoke Gang Ace 3. Vikings or Lions almost beat the Eagles. Well, they didn't almost beat the Eagles. They came back from a huge hole. I mean, people forget that. The final score was not indicative of the type of game it was. The Eagles were blowing out the Lions, and the Lions came back. Vikings not as good as you think. Shut up. Playoff team at best. Cool. They need 1 to 2 more years for a Super Bowl. Congratulations. Ancient Geek. Why are the Vikings still going to the Super Bowl this year after that loss? Because every team loses. Everybody hurts sometimes. Ghost. What happened to the Tottenham Hotspurs content? It's at the bottom of the ocean. Now, Liverpool. We'll be back. Even though that I think, with the Queens of Fortune passing, they postponed like 17 Liverpool games, so they haven't played in like a month. It's crazy, man. Saboose Rib, Dante Culpepper, or Tommy Kramer. I wasn't, well, I guess I was technically alive, but I wasn't really cognizant of the Tommy Kramer years, so I just have to go off of what other fans said. But Kramer seemed like he was legit. But Dante at his peak, even though, yes, he was really more made by Chris Carter and Randy Moss. I mean, Dante... Even though he only crossed over with Chris Carter for like a very short period of time. But Dante, he was second in MVP voting to Peyton Manning that one year. Was it 04? Get your roll on, baby. Come on. 22 Jack. Should we fire Kevin? Oh, by the way, Dante Culpepper, he of the 0-16 2008 Lions fame. Should we fire Kevin O'Connell since he didn't go 17-0, or is that overreaction? Mild overreaction. But if he loses 2 games, fire his ass. Maybe even cut Kirk since he didn't have... Well, if you cut Kirk, you got all that dead cap. So, ain't going to happen. But that is it That's a little Q&A session. Thank you very much for coming along, sending in your Qs. Hopefully we got some less than slightly less than acceptable A's. That's all. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.